contribution to the show.
We thank you for that.
I do like the way you minimize. I just touched it and it broke. I just touched a button and it did that.
See, now, Bob, you know why I'm not BSing you. When I remember the one time I just picked up a coffee cup, I put ice in it, I poured water in it, I turned around to take it back to the studio, and it broke. The handle just fell off.
Those were heavy cubes in there.
Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. So yeah, sometimes things just break, and I'm usually there when it happens.
The look on your face was priceless. I don't know if the video caught it because you were facing me, but your eyes just went like you just got electrocuted.
I felt like I got
whoa,
electrified there. Yeah.
What the heck just happened here? It was very funny. Anyway, mean text 15 minutes from now, 866-979-3776. We talked about this earlier in the show in case you just tuned in and joined us now. I thought perhaps coming out of the All-Star break that there would be maybe a more definitive plan out there with the rotation. And it feels like it's kind of, as it's gone to this point, like we're just kind of playing it by ear is how it feels. Now, I'm sure there's certainly more effort and thought being put into it than that. But that's just kind of how it feels because they're starting with the six-man. They're opening the second half of the season with the six-man rotation. Mm-hmm. So my hope was not fulfilled. I was hoping we'd get, here's the plan moving forward. But we talked with Angie Mentink earlier, and we talked with Trevor May as well, and one of them made a point about, well, obviously if you're showcasing a pitcher perhaps for a trade, they're much more attractive as a starter than they are if there's somebody you relegated to the bullpen. Mm-hmm. How much does that impact their trade value? I don't really know, but on the surface that makes sense to me. Like if they're thinking, okay, we're going to keep doing this until the trade deadline, then we're going to make our decision whether we trade somebody and that's made for us or we don't trade anybody. But at that point we say, okay, here's what we're doing. This guy's going to the bullpen. Mm-hmm. That gives us some help in the bullpen, whatever. But August 3rd, I guess, is what I would be looking at for them to make some sort of declaration with this rotation. Because I feel like going through the second half of the season, the same feels, I don't know what the proper term, wishy-washy, or just sort of, it's not set in stone. It's not, hey, we're a five-man rotation. Here's our five guys. And here's our bullpen. Here's how it goes. Right now we're vacillating back and forth between six-man, piggyback. No, we're not doing piggyback. We'll go back to six-man.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people get kind of annoyed by that because I think they think it indicates that there's chaos going on down there, and they can't, or
uncertainty.
They can't make a decision. And so I like what you wrote in the email, though, that you feel like they're just sending people out until someone gets lit up.
Well, specifically too, to me, if
Castillo and
Hancock, that if they're thinking of sending either any starter to the bullpen, it's one of those two, and one because he's been the least effective of all the starters, and that would be Luis. Yeah. And the other guy's gone to the bullpen. It was kind of his role. It was kind of assumed that, he was just going to occupy that spot until Bryce was healthy, and then he'd either go to the bullpen or get sent down to AAA, what have you. So he doesn't have, I guess, the resume, even though arguably the best pitcher they've had, most consistent pitcher they've had this year is Emerson Hancock. So I don't know. I feel like they're just waiting for one of them to go out there and just get torched. And maybe it makes the decision easier. Now, maybe it's not that simple, and it is about the trade deadline, and they do want to showcase these guys. I don't know, but that's kind of how it feels on some level.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it really indicates that there is some sort of chaos going on in there, and they can't figure things out. I feel like it's the best option right now, and so I'm not in a big hurry for it to go away from that. I guess it doesn't bother me that much. In other words, that they keep changing their plan. I mean, I don't feel like they owe it to us to, we all understand, like, hey, I want to get back to the five-man rotation and know who's pitching when. And I don't know, I think that they're doing the thing that they think is best, and the pitching part has been fine.
I just want the other bullpen arm. I don't want to be in that situation again where you're having to go to guys
like the.
And I keep bringing up Rucker, and I don't mean to pick on him, but
that was an obvious one.
Yeah, you just you get caught in a situation where you're down an arm. You've got one one fewer in the bullpen than you would otherwise have because you have 6 starters, and then you're also minus the leverage arm of Matt Brash. So, yeah, it just that I just want to see that part go away. You know, where you're going a man short in the bullpen.
Yeah. Does this because Mike wrote here, you know, what do you think about the Kate Anderson sort of timeline? Do you think this affects that, or is it? What do you think?
That's a good question. I don't really know what their plan is with him, and then maybe some of that depends on what they do or don't get done at the trade deadline. If they're not able to acquire, let's hypothetically say in their mind we need 2 more bodies in that bullpen. Just throwing that out there. Maybe they get 1, and they're like, hey, we just couldn't find that deal for the other guy. It just didn't happen for whatever reason. Maybe that's their answer.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about Carlos Vargas. All of a sudden, he's a name we hadn't been mentioning at all. So maybe they're looking at it going, hey, if he's ready to go, and then we bring up Kate Anderson, those are the 2 arms we felt like we needed.
Yeah.
And then if Brash is able to go at the end of August or early September, whatever it is, that's cherry on top. We'll make a decision with somebody else on the roster at that point. But yeah, I don't. It's an interesting question because I don't know how much they're looking at him as no, that's going to happen. We've heard them say, well, we expect to see him sooner than later, and all right, we don't really know what that means.
Yeah. Oh, and then we haven't really heard anything from the experts as well. It's been everything from sometime in the next, you know, at least when the season started, the first couple months maybe, to maybe he can come out of the bullpen if they make it to the playoffs. I mean, that's been the range for Kate Anderson. So
yeah, it's just been a little vague.
But, you know, like I can't remember who was saying this, but they were talking about how, you know, the numbers indicate that he is ready to come up, what he's doing right now.
I mean, he's dominating.
I think it might have been Gary Hill. But anyway, yeah, that was I thought.
Well,
really
if Gary said it, you got to take it for what it's worth. You know, grain of salt and all.
It's the word of God.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a while we were talking about him and Sloan, but I think, you know, that they're not equal right now. Kate Anderson's pitching like he's playing against young boys, and he's a man out there. And Sloan's had his struggles, but he's got electric stuff, and I think it'll be a matter of time for him, certainly. But yeah, it feels like he's an option he becomes more of an option should they not be able to get something done at the trade deadline that they feel like they want to or could do. How about that?
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
yeah, and we'll see if that's in fact the case. I've always been like, don't bring him up unless you really feel like he's ready. And look, the numbers are getting to a point where it's almost indisputable. Like, yeah, how much good is it for him to be down there? Yeah, I'm sure it's good for his confidence, but in terms of facing that competition and really upping his game, is he gaining anything by going out there and just toying with these AA hitters the way he seems to have?
Yeah, doing the same thing every night at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and actually the other guy was JP, John Paul Morosi. He was talking about looking at.
Did you know that maintaining your oral hygiene not only ensures your teeth and gums are in good health, but also ensures that you are free from disease-causing bacteria?
all sides of the story.
Is holding you back? Call Dr. Daniel Nelson at Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine and find out if stem cell therapy may be right for you. Dr. Dan here is the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. Call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's 425-823-4000 or danielnelsonmd.com.
Wyman and Bob.